They've been playing, they've built up their careers, and it comes down to this. They have another amazing accolade in front of themselves. Oh no, that pink card.
Yeah, no secret box available for Ian, and a lot of energy prize for Rowan. 3 out of your 10 energy, especially that dark energy at the very top, does mean that like triple Monkey Dory plays will be very, very difficult, if not impossible to pull off. If that's our last prize card, Rowan could have a little bit of trouble setting up the same amount of Monkey Dories to match Ian's at this point in time.
Certainly going to have to look out for that as we move forward in our game. Nervous about those psychic energies as well for Rowan, and the setup for Ian could be a bit tricky with some of those cards like the Secret Box, the Lily's Determination, and one of those copies of Ralts as well.
Now, as far as I can see from the deck list, they have the exact same Pokemon spread, right? They both have 3 Monkey Dory, they both have the 3/2/2 Gardevoir line. They have Mew, Pheasantipity, and Clefairy to go along to support, and they have the 2/1 Jellicent EX. As we see Rowan start us off with an Earthen Vessel, discarding an energy, and probably going to immediately find out how many energy he actually prized this time around.
Well, if you are going to miss out on some energies in the prize cards, you might as well see a few of them early on. Leads to pretty optimized deck as you move forward. A Psychic Energy to the discard pile as well with the Earthen Vessel. Always nice to see, and fishing out a few of those Psychic Energies. We'll get some of that unfortunate news there. That was the energy count.
Yeah, he didn't put too many energies to the back of the deck. 3 in play, 3 in the discard. That means there's only 4 left.
The rest in the hand.
Yeah.
It doesn't line up for very much else, and now I'm a little nervous about what else is in that hand.
I think I saw an Ultra Ball. Might have seen a supporter, I'm not sure yet. Now, we do see that Rowan is only playing 1 copy of Lily's Determination, whereas Ian is playing 4. So that's a huge difference. Rowan just going with the classic Professor Research more so than the brand new Lily supporter. I wonder if that's going to come into play in a major way.
Yeah, that may speak to the strategy for Rowan. He's really focused on making sure that those energies hit the discard pile early on, not as conscious about the preservation of those resources, but also may speak to the fact that he's ready to take prize cards. And 6-card shuffle is not nearly as good as discard 7 sometimes.
Yeah, a major difference we also see is that Rowan is focusing more on the Arven, knows how important that secret box is, whereas Ian is more chill about it. He's like, he's happy to see the secret
I'm gonna
box.
prize it.
But yeah, it's not available right now, and he only had 1 Arven anyways, which coincidentally he has in his hand right now.
Oh no, the bad news. It will just continue to pile up here every once in a while, and you find out, and thankfully you can find out from Artisan, if you want to call that thankful. May survive, may mean that his supporter could be a better one than just the Arven.
Yeah, I think he's just now realized that gulp he just did was, well, Secret Box is not available. And I mean, Secret Box is just so powerful, right? You can Arven for it, and then that immediately gives you your follow-up supporter for the next turn. Or if you get Ionode, then you know you're getting a fresh new hand. But that's not possible right now for Ian, despite having that Arven accessibility. So we'll have to see how he approaches this as he sees that Rowan prioritize the item lock from the Frillish as opposed to establishing a Ralts in this Gardevoir mirror match.
Yeah, which often you do find in this mirror. You want to establish that item lock, slow things down, and then start to build up on your board, and then start to take advantage of one certain aspect from your opponent, whether it be if you can pick on the Gardevoir line while they're trying to set that up, or if you can take away some of their other resources like Monkey Dory. You don't want to see the damage returning back to your side.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know we've been talking a lot about Gardevoir, the new Mega Absol deck and whatnot, but the one thing every deck seems to have in common is Monkey Dory, right? It feels like it's Monkey Dory's world, and we are all just living in it, Kyle.
Yeah, that's right. The Adrena Brain goes crazy. It's something we all need to be looking out for, and we do see the early Frillish with the TM evolution. Do you expect to see Jellicent this early? And sometimes you want to bank on that Frillish for a few turns.
Yeah, I mean, based on how Rowan also prioritized that Jellicent, I want to say yes. Now, I do believe that because of the lack of Secret Box, Ian's hand is now there's no follow-up to this. Yeah, if he had Secret Box, he could have done the exact same thing, go for the Technical Machine Evolution or whatnot, but is there a supporter there? I don't know if I saw one. Might have been a Lily, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, prioritize the Arven, has what he needs, will use the TM Evolution, but what else do you have to work with? And we should mention in this mirror match, when you have the Jellicent, one of the big ways to move around this would be a boss's orders, neither player featuring that card.
And we see Rowan attach an energy to that Pheasant DPT, and that's a research discarding one rare candy, and the other one is also right here. So that's good information to have. At the end, you can make the calculated guess that your opponent doesn't play more than 2 copies of rare candy, and of course with the item lock present, that means rare candy doesn't factor in at all. However, if at any point you end up switching gears and not using the item lock, then you know, or you can accurately predict that Rowan probably doesn't have access to a Gardevoir until there's a Kirlia in play.
Yeah, things to consider when you know that this list will feature a TM Devolution. So if damage is placed enough, you have that triple Monkey Dory potentially, push all that over to a Kirlia, then de-evolve. It's very unlikely that you're going to see that Pokemon return, as you've already seen the Kirlia. The rare candies are no longer there. Seen what this means now for Rowan. Discarding one of those precious dark energies, especially when you know that item lock could be something to worry about. One in the prize cards too. Monkey Dory movements. Uh-oh.
Yeah, just based on the hefty discard so far for Rowan, that alone could make the difference, right? We're just starting out. This is still 6-6. This is only turn 2, but these differences are right. So he's really going to prioritize putting that dark energy back, utilizing the resource of Suprod.
Yeah, very smart there. Need to cash in on that right now. And we see the Jellicent. There was no TM Evolution, so no Kirlia to go along with this. So a bit slower on Rowan's side. However, now for Ian, he'll have some decisions to make. He can move into his own item lock. He could include some confusion here if he wants to make this a rougher time for the Jellicent. A lot of different ways to go here, Pablo.
Many options already. The Gardevoir established and a research to follow it up. Discarding a Psychic Energy. I do believe there's another one in the discard pile. Now, you get the first early aggression with your Gardevoir. You already have a Dark established to your opponent's none. If you're able to get like 2 Monkey Dories online here, you would have such a big advantage. However, we see the attachment onto the Jellicent.
Yeah, locking in this item lock makes a ton of sense. Your opponent didn't do too much. They super rotted a Dark Energy. Their resources aren't being used as well. It's a single Ralts as your opponent needs to evolve that, and it has to be this turn. You need to see Kirlia immediately so that Gardevoir is available when this Jellicent could likely be knocked out next turn with a few additional energies added.
I love the Jellicent art where it looks like they're really angry, and since they're both in the active, it's like they're really angry at each other. They just don't want to see the other one in the active right now, locking items, locking tool cards, and by locking Technical Machine Evolution, could make it, and Ultra Balls, of course, could make it difficult for Rowan to get to Gardevoir eventually.
Yeah, the mirror match is truly a mirror at this point. I'm seeing so much jelly at this point.
Jelly cents right now.
Oh, no peanut butter anywhere.
All right, now Rowan figuring out exactly what to do. Can match the 80 damage from... Oh no, wait, he just attached to Monkey Dory. Never mind, we cannot... Yeah, Rowan's just not going to be able to attack this turn.
And the Lily's determination, that we know that this is just that one single copy. To have that through item lock, nice to see. 8 cards can be found, and maybe there's something that can help out in this situation. You can't attack. Maybe it's just frillish at this point to have another resource to help out and keep item lock going when you're biding some time.
Yeah. And I mean, how effective is the item lock at this stage when there's just everything on the board, right? You're denying Earthen Vessel, perhaps, to search for a second Dark, so your opponent doesn't get too far ahead. I see Secret Box. I see Counter Catcher. I see Technical Machine Evolution. I don't see a Gardevoir. I don't see anything really to follow this up, and not even an energy for like the next turn.
Yeah, very slow approach. Missing out on this attack. It's unfortunate as you now have 200 HP on your Jellicent. one more Monkey-Dory Dark Energy does not spell very great news for you.
And we have to remember that Oceanic Curse not only blocks item cards, but it also blocks tool cards. Therefore, that Technical Machine Evolution is just unplayable. We cannot get Gardevoir EX up front, and therefore, or on the field, and now it's Ian's turn. Nothing done by Rowan other than Artisan and Adrenabrain.
Now, for Ian, it's been a pretty solid setup, but the Psychic Energy attachment... Oh, is this from the discard pile? Can't tell yet. Looks like there was a combination of that plus Monkey-Dory at the same time. It's a very slow turn.
Yeah.
So, thankfully for Rowan, he does have time to establish that Gardevoir if it's in hand.
I don't see it. There's an Arven. There's so many cards in Rowan's hand, but just no help. Arven searches for 2 unplayable cards, and everything else is just blocked by Oceanic Curse. Another pass here would be so bad for Rowan, and I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This game might have been just decided by this slow start and those hefty discards as well.
Yeah, this is why we've seen in some of the lists, there is the inclusion of an additional Pokemon. You want to have the Iron Bundle so that you can move this and then throw down all of those tools in one big move. Instead, there's no way to move this Jellicent. It's moving the damage back over to you. We're almost at a knockout, but still no resources.
No. I mean, Ian did top deck an Iono, but obviously he chose not to play it. Now, Rowan off the top does find Gardevoir EX, but is it a little too late, Kyle? I mean, is our best play? There's 10 HP left on the active, so we can't even retreat it.
Has to use the Monkey-Dory to heal itself off so that you could then get 1 energy on there, but still would not have enough to actually retreat this Pokemon unless there was energy from hand. It's a 3 retreat, right?
Yeah, it's 3 retreat, no energy in hand, no nothing in hand, really. So we're just going to have to keep the item lock still going. If Ian is able to find a Dark Energy, he could actually KO with double Adrenabrain this Jellicent, free himself from the item lock during his turn and still get another attack whilst keeping the item lock in play himself. This could be a huge turn for Ian, and I think this is where you take the quotation marks risk and play the Iono to give yourself that chance. Yeah,
your opponent already has the Gardevoir. What else could they really find at this point that would hurt you? You're likely only running into issues with the Monkey-Dory using Mind Bend or something like that to disrupt this attacking. He finds the Psychic Energy.
Yeah, Psychic off the top. That means Power Press could now do 160, but now, of course, you wanted that last turn, not this turn. So do you go for the Iono? Knowing your opponent barely has anything. Seems like we're going to see the attach on the active. I think that signifies we're not going to Iono. We're just happy knowing that Rowan has not played a card, has played 1 card over the last 3 turns, I think. So just take the KO, move the damage somewhere else. We're going to Artisan, establish something extra on the bench, maybe the second Frillish perhaps, to have the backup Jellicent, and then it's on Rowan to make something happen. Now, the confusion from Mind Bend, I think, is something we're going to see a lot here.
Yeah.
That's Rowan's best tool right now available in order to try and free himself from this Oceanic Curse he's under.
Yeah, the 60 damage is nice right now. It's just out of range of Monkey-Dory continuing to push it back over every time, seeing that there's just that single Dark Energy. So you are getting somewhere, even though it may not feel like it that way. And here is the knockout from the Power Press, taking the KO, 2 prize cards, and relieving that burden of the item lock now for Ian. Rowan's still an uphill battle, but he has 3 Psychic Energies to work with this time around from the discard pile.
And that definitely gives him a few options, right? He also has Artisan, he already has a Screamtail in hand. He could use Screamtail to take down his opponent's Monkey-Dory and give himself the Monkey-Dory advantage. He just got an Iono off the top, making this play a little bit better. If he had a way to move this Jellicent, maybe trap the Gardevoir up front, that would be pretty solid, but I'm not seeing any copy of Boss's Orders. It's just counter catchers for both players.
Yeah, and that's really the tough point of this matchup is once you evolve 2 Jellicent, you are going to have to go through this Pokemon at some point, and Ian did it nice and slow. Rowan's still holding on as he's used a lot of resources to this point, and honestly, with item lock in play, there is no way to bring up another Jellicent from here. You're going to have to work your way through this Pokemon or ignore it for the entirety of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. And sure, you get one prize card, you give yourself the Monkey Dory, but dealing with that Jellicent, you need to at least threaten it. I generally think Confusion is probably the way to go. At least make them flip, see if they can continue with the aggression. A lot of cards found after Iono and flip the script. Another Dark Energy as well. Are we piecing something together here, Kyle, that could get us back into this game?
Very unlikely to find that energy, but he does. And we see a little shortcut here now with the Gardevoir playing that Psychic Energy onto the Monkey Dory, then triple to the Gardevoir, has the monkeys to push over.
This is perfect math. We are going to be able to knock out the Jellicent thanks to that extra Dark Energy. The one copy Rowan had, the one he put back with that Super Out on the first turn of the game.
So unrealistic. What 30 cards left in deck at that point?
At least.
Then the Dark Energy in the prizes, had to find it off the Iono. Yes, you put a pretty hefty hand on the bottom, but he does find the Dark Energy for the perfect answer here. Both players avoiding item lock now. Ian, what do you have for us? It starts with Iono.
Iono 2-4 for both players. This Gardevoir definitely out of range. No Frillish to act as backup for the Jellicent that just went down. We have access to Screamtail through the use of Artisan and potentially give ourselves the Monkey Dory advantage once again. Could also go after the Pheasantipity, take a 2-prize knockout that way. We see an Ultra Ball getting rid of the Iono. Is this Mew? Is this Pheasantipity?
Yeah, this is, it depends on where you want to go with this hand, and you have the exact same issue that your opponent does right now. Is you have 2 Pokemon EX, 4 prize cards remaining, but you both really want to take out Monkey Dories. So you can afford to play this Pheasantipity, continue to build this hand up, find some more resources. And if it were to be Screamtail, I'm surprised we didn't see the Artisan first, but
yeah,
maybe he's got an alternative solution here.
I agree. I think if it had been Screamtail, we probably would have seen the Artisan use way before. Now, I mean, this was looking bleak for Rowan, and that one Dark Energy, the only one left in the deck, so unlikely to be found, completely turned things around. It almost feels like Rowan has a big advantage at this point, but we're going to match your Gardevoir with my Gardevoir, says Ian.
Yep, and we'll be slightly out of range of dealing a KO. One more Monkey Dory Dark would have gotten over the hump if the energies and damage were there to do that, but could lay a lot of damage down and actually chooses to push this over to the Frillish. There's certainly a nod towards item lock. It is a terrifying thing to consider.
Yeah, and with Super Out gone, Jellicent EX in the discard pile as well, maybe you don't get enough time to evolve the Frillish, or maybe you choose to heal the Frillish, put it out of range of Monkey Dories, but then all of a sudden you're not healing your Gardevoir, and that could prove problematic. It's at 90 HP remaining, and therefore that third Monkey Dory that you were talking about, Kyle, could also play a role, especially if you attack for 190 and you give your opponent the damage to work with.
Yeah, dangerous spot here for Rowan. Has to find a solution to preserve either one of these. I feel like Gardevoir has to be the more prominent of the two for now, and this energy attachment, there's Iono, I believe, as the options for supporter. Do you feel comfortable with that, Pablo, or do you want to hold on to this this situation right now?
I mean, with all these energies still prized, I think you want to commit it. Even if it goes down, you can easily recover it later down the line. There's counter catchers not live for either player, and I think the bench space that Ian still has gives him a slight advantage in the sense that he's not committed to a Frillish, he has the option to Screamtail, and he knows that this turn there's probably not a lot happening for Rowan in terms of knockouts, right? So damage gets transferred, Frillish gets saved, but we have now the opportunity to go triple Monkey Dory, knock out the Gardevoir EX, and take something else down, possibly the Ralts really limiting what Rowan can do the turn after.
I don't even think you need the Ralts. Cue the replay, Pablo, of the rare candies to the discard pile. There are two rare candies that are waiting there. After this Gardevoir falls, how does Rowan come up with a solution? It would have to be Night Stretcher into the Jellicent, attacking for 80, or Monkey Dory Mind Bends. You are asking so much of your deck from that point. But this is where Ian asked a little bit of his. Monkey Dory, Dark Energy. But once more, if it was all there, Artisan for Monkey Dory may have been the play to go with first.
Yeah, I think keeping your options open just in case you don't get access to the energy seems like a pretty fair choice. Now, I mean, you said it yourself, though. With the 2 rare candies down, if you just knock out the active, no problem. Yeah, you don't even need to do it through the 3 Monkey Dories. If you can do it, sure, that would be cool. But if you don't do it, which we did get the Earthen Vessel, so we can, even if we don't do it, there's no Gardevoir threat next turn. Absolutely none. But now, yeah.
Yeah, this is a very comfortable spot. Triple Monkey Dory could even go to the benched Monkey Dory with 20 damage on it. You could clear that Pokemon and then just KO the active. Yep. Guarantee those 3 cards knocked off, those 3 prize cards in your pocket. And there's no Gardevoir presence on the next turn.
No Gardevoir presence. Rowan will need a raw energy, a Night Stretcher for the Jellicent as well. I mean, he could Oceanic Gloom for 20, but what's that going to accomplish, Kyle, with triple Monkey Dory already in play? Now, Ian will have to use his own Gardevoir, so if something were to happen to it, he could be in trouble, but what's going to happen, right? These decks don't play Blood Moon Luna. There's no Gardevoir aggression. The maximum damage Rowan could do next turn is 100 with 20 damage transfer and 80 from Jellicent.
Yeah, the only thing that I see at this point would be Frillish counter catcher onto Fez and try to hold on to that as the only Pokemon that can receive Psychic Embrace, but you're asking a lot from that point to turn it around and overcome 4 prizes. The damage will push over to the Frillish now. Guarantees that you don't have to worry about that situation, and the KO on the Gardevoir is all but done.
Yeah, triple Monkey Dory can KO the Gardevoir, or it can just take down the Frillish. All right. I mean, this extra energy, how many energy does that leave Ian with? I'm not exactly sure. So maybe an item lock combined with a Gusting of Serendipity could be an option. There's 1 Psychic in the discard pile, 4 in play, so there's plenty of energy left to work with.
Okay, we've got some juice, and we'll see what Rowan can come up with now. He's worked a bit of a miracle to get himself to this point, finding the Dark Energy, but he might need 1 more. Iono is a great way to do that. What else do you have to work with? There shouldn't be very many Pokemon left.
I really think if the 2 rare candies were not here, we definitely see a KO on the Ralts, right? Yep. But because they're there, Ian's like, nah, that's fine. Ralts can live another turn.
Yep, you have to play your deck as well as your opponents as you see that discard pile accumulate. Those resources are so important to track. Leads to some very interesting plays here. This is a guaranteed KO on Gardevoir, which is nice to see. You don't get that additional prize card, which makes it a little harder for Rowan to win this game, but just to know that that Pokemon's not around and you just have to work through some Monkey Dories is all he needs to hear.
This is going to be a pretty interesting close to the game. Rowan does find Kirlia, though. And he's gonna remove his opponent's Gardevoir off the field. Will leave activation for Serendipity available. And Ian will have the Gardevoir in his hand. So if he finds Rare Candy, we know the game is over. But this is Rowan's out, right? This is what he's playing towards. It's what he needs to do in order to give himself a chance at winning this match.
Yeah, a secret box was just placed on the bottom of the deck by way of the Iono, so other cards that could have helped you find that rare candy will basically just have to be the rare candy itself from this point, unless, of course, we see Ian wisely use that Artisan to shuffle up and then give Serendipity 1 big shot. Look at that, though. He wants to make it even harder, guarantee that not only you find what you need with the rare candy Gardevoir, but you need an energy to move this Fez.
Now we see the recovery of the Frillish. If Ian doesn't find a Kirlia or a Candy Gardevoir, that item lock will then be very problematic. So we can never count out any of these Gardevoir decks. They always have these plays. Rowan even preparing for a potential item lock from Ian just in case somehow that happens. I mean, we see Rowan has Herballoon. Ian could also have Herballoon himself in order to retreat this Serendipity as we see the technical machine Devolution and Gardevoir getting KO'd.
I can't wipe the smile off my face. This is so wild. Rowan has so much to work with. Ian has Night Stretcher, Earthen Vessel, and Gardevoir can shuffle with the Artisan. Give himself a chance at that secret box. Oh boy. Dangerous spot to be in.
Was not KOing the Ralts a mistake here, Kyle? Now I'm wondering, was that a little too preemptive, just saying, nah, you can't rare candy Gardevoir, but then Technical Machine Devolution came in and put in the work. So Ian going for that Ralts, thinning the deck, making sure that he has options as well. There's a Kirlia at the very top that just got KO'd. There's a nice stretcher in the hand as well. But with the end being so far ahead in the price cards, Rowan could counter-catch her Kirlia. Wow!
Okay, now, what is in the box? We will find out. It looks like it's going to be a rare candy, Gardevoir, Earthen Vessel to find some energies. Toss those away, at least one of them.
Goodness,
And,
unreal.
keep one to retreat this Fez, or find Balloon if you want to. There's so much you can do here. That's all you need to see, though.
Yeah.
Rare Candy, Guardy, Energy, Giddy Up. He's got the knockout.
Wow, perfect combination of cards off the top for Ian. Robb flipped the script, living up to its name.
That was perfect. Everything we needed to see from that matchup, and a true masterclass from both of these players. The item lock really leads to so many different lines for these players, and you have to consider every single resource. Ian took a big risk not knocking out that Ralts. Didn't have to get punished, though. He had the answer.
Yeah. Ian had what? 2 rare candy outs and the secret box.
Yep.
So yeah, let's take a look at the replay for this match. We had the Jellicent face-off, both very angry to be looking at each other in the top spot, but now we saw the perfect comeback from Rowan that
Miracle.
Darkness energy found.
Absolute miracle to find that energy, take the KO there. Did not seem likely, and sure enough, Ian just continued to put on pressure, took the KO on that Gardevoir. We saw the Devo back from Rowan, really clean play, but Ian had the answer. Fez into the box, Rare Candy Guardy, and he takes game 1 here in the top 8.
Very back and forth. At one point we were counting out Rowan, then this Iono counter catcher. Devo was looking grim for Ian, but Pheasantipity. I think Pheasantipity, I want to say it, is one of the best cards ever released. And like, we had Orikoru GX, I think, which had the same ability. It didn't feel as impactful as Pheasantipity does.
Yeah, what, 170 HP? Just having 210 instead of 200 is such a big difference in some points, but this Pokemon is so impactful. We've seen it attack on the world stage before. It can do anything, but mainly it gives Ian the round, or the first game here in this top 8, and he will go first this time around. He's got the Nest Ball. Let's take a look through the deck and see those prize cards. Oh,
boy.
Yep, that's at the top.
Yeah.
That's not where you want to see it.
And it's Secret Box prized against Raw Secret Box on turn 1 for Rowan. I'm going to quote Azul and say, we can't let them keep getting away with this. How do we start our one of a spec in our starting hand? We saw Tord Reklev top the kit in a crucial situation in game 3. Now Rowan 1 game behind, going up against a prize Secret Box with his own in hand. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the script writers doing their job this time here in the top 8, making Milwaukee 1-2. Remember, Ian, he's going to fight his way through this one. He's got Frillish. He's thinking about item lock once more, and he's going to take note. This, I don't get the box again. Fantastic.
Yeah. Now, as we see Ian go through his deck, figure out his play, we are seeing like the mirror of the previous game, right? Rowan went first, went for the Frillish, attached to it, established the potential item lock. Now we are seeing Ian do the same, except he does get to find a Ralt. But as we go through the motions, we do have a couple updates from the field from our other top 8 games. Hello Obernolte already made its way into top 4, and Jackson Ford is up 1 game against Tord Reklev.
Yep, things are moving and grooving for the Mega Absol player. Hale, he's moving forward. And Tord, he's got his work cut out for him. He's got to take down a Charizard Dusknoir, and he's seen Dusknoir maybe a few too many times than he expected to. But on this side, we've got the Gardevoir players facing off, and it will be the Arven, something that Rowan prioritized in his list and is now seeing the benefits of.
This is going to be very peculiar. Ian's going to see Rowan not grab Secret Box, and he's like, okay, even playing field. Neither of us has secret box, and then Rowan's just gonna slam the secret box onto the table.
The earthen vessel find here for some energies will make you wonder, oh no, is it Ultra Ball? What is it? What does he have for me? It is the worst case scenario, as he will have all the energies in the discard pile, a plethora of resources to get the job done. And for Ian, we did see that Psychic Energy attachment to the Monkey Dory. We've seen in some lists, you'd see that energy just go to the Frillish, and maybe an Air Balloon would come down, but I don't believe Ian features that card in his list.
Yeah, there's no Air Balloon into on Ian's side, as we see Rowan immediately find his. Could choose to Technical Machine Evolution with something different. Could just be the choice to just discard it. Now, what do you think about Air Balloon in these cardboard decks? I feel like it's very strong when you have the potential to Frillish turn 1 item lock, right? When you can find it.
Right.
But Ian's not focusing too much on Arven, so it being unsearchable other than the secret box or the 1 copy of Arven, I can understand why he doesn't have it in there.
Yeah, we've seen players really have to make a decision of, do they want to really focus on the TM evolution as their way of setting up their board and moving forward, or do they want to disrupt their opponents, use that Air Balloon as a way to move into the Frillish and start that item lock as early as the first turn, going second. And looks like Rowan has given himself the opportunity to go either way with that, as he has the TM Evo there and throws away the balloon. Ian does not regard that as very important. He just wants to go get his setup and get moving.
Gosh, Secret Box is just such a good card. It thins your hand of resources, can be used to your advantage, and then it thins your deck as well, and provides even more thinning options with the Technical Machine Evolution, with the whatever item you find, perhaps to find basic Pokemon. Secret Box just feels unreal, especially in Gardevoir decks. But yeah, so far so good for Rowan. We have the exact same Pokemon in play, but Rowan's going to have a much better start here.
Yeah, as far as a mirror match goes, it may look the same right here, right now, but Rowan is certainly favored from this spot. Things are really going his way. He's flying through the deck right now. He's holding on to a rare candy. He's got the Air Balloon Frillish. Goodness gracious, it doesn't get much better than that.
Are we not? Oh, okay. So I was wondering why we shuffled if we were going to Technical Machine Evolution, but no. We're just going to go for Shiny Gloom. We're going to deny our opponent's potential secret box, even if they find it at some point, and we're going to make it harder for them to find that Kirlia off of Ultra Balls or whatnot, make sure they definitely don't have Rare Candy Gardevoir. So Ian can match the item lock by retreating into the Jelly, right? Which is pretty good, but I don't think I saw an energy in that hand, Kyle.
Yeah, I think Rowan was really banking on the Jellicent not being in the hand at this point. You use the turn 1 Frillish, just get that item lock set up, and then you follow up with the turn 2 TM Evolution. Set your board up. You don't worry about it because you have your own Jellicent there locking out the items for you. Instead, he does get slightly punished, sees the Jellicent. Some bad news, but is there an energy to go along with this? Because if not, Ian's going to be at least 2 turns behind, and that's big news there.
That's big, as Rowan just finds the Jellicent himself. Won't be able to Technical Machine Evolution, but probably doesn't mind it. Now the Oceanic Curse is active. Neither player can play tool cards. Neither player can play item cards, but one player is ahead, as you mentioned, 2 turns by those 2 energy attachments, and that could be enough to turn things around.
Yeah, massive here, and this is the last part. If you find the Kirlia off of the Professor's research, then you are really starting to look great, and Rowan does find that resource, even has the Artisan, could add an additional Monkey Dory onto the board, and every Dark Energy just means that your Jellicent has a chance to stick around for maybe an extra turn or 2.
Would you say, based on the fact that there's Jellicent mirrors all over the place, is it time for Gardevoir, now that there's Lily's Determination as well, is it time to play a raw copy of Boss's Orders, Kyle?
You at least play that, or you play Iron Bundle. You need to give yourself that 1 turn of items that your opponent's not expecting and surprise them and get that setup that maybe they weren't looking for in that mid-game spot. And we've seen a few players switch over to that. It really is tricky to find the room when you add this Jellicent package, but maybe you just need to make the space.
Now, we do have an update from Belo Horizonte, the other regional championship that is happening this weekend, and it's Gabriel Fernandez versus Gustavo Wada in the finals. 2 former Brazilian world champions facing it off. The new prodigy, if you will. Is he the real deal in the Masters division? Will he be the heir to the Tord Throne,
right?
perhaps.
He's working his way through, and let's be very curious to see if he can. It's funny to think of Gustavo Wada as the old guard now, as he used to be the Kyogre kid, the one to worry about. And now he's holding on to see if he can. But Ian also pushing forward, trying to hold on in this matchup. There is a dark energy for that Monkey Dory. The damage is pushed over onto the Jellicent. But Rowan has one of his own. He has a Gardevoir as well. This is the perfect answer in this spot.
Yeah, everything Ian does, Rowan's just doing better, right? Already has the Gardevoir, matches the Monkey Dory, 4 Monkey Dory. That 3 damage just going immediately back over to Ian's side. 30 damage from Adrenabrain, 80 more from Power Press. And Ian might be the one who needs to resort to a Mind Bend to get himself out of this pickle.
Yeah, really worried about how to go about this now as Ian. The damage is really accumulating. You still don't have Kirlia. The damage is just going to take this Jellicent off the board here soon. What does he have for us? It's just an Arven.
Arven searches for 2 unplayable cards. That's one big issue. I mean, Ian's list is not as focused on Arven. So if he's playing this, that means he doesn't have much else to go for.
Yeah, really tough here. We see 110 hit points remaining on this Jellicent, so pretty simple with the Power Press and double Monkey Dory in this spot to take the KO. Or if we see 2 Psychic Energies, Power Press would get to that next level to deal 160 damage for a knockout.
Now, we have a lot of options here for Rowan. We have the extra energy attachment. There are no energy in the discard pile, so we have 2 options. We could retreat this Jellicent into like a Frillish, keep the item lock and get extra damage on the board, give ourselves a little bit more flexibility with the energy, but that would allow Ian to play tool card, so perhaps that's not the best option. I think it's the Jellicent face-off where we have a very clear winner here.
Yeah, see Rowan just adjusting the damage counters on Ian, wants to change the pips to make it a little more sense in his mind. Now decides to use the Monkey Dory to see how much damage he can get on there. And 240, he's 30 away from a KO. Dark Energy for Ian would be very nice to see. Not going to go anywhere with this hand, though. It's just move the damage with the Monkey Dory and see the impact of item lock for both of these players.
Yeah, Rowan. And that, like, I think we're seeing a mirror of the previous match, right? It's
yeah,
like
except they've flipped.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to see the attachment onto the Jellicent. This was the key turn where Ian played on Iono and helped Rowan. I don't think we're going to see that friendly Iono this time around, though.
No, it does not seem likely here. Rowan doesn't have the perfect answer here where he can move the damage over and clear this Jellicent before the attack, as he would love to. But he does feel comfortable that there will not be a Dark Energy here. He leaves damage on board, puts it onto the other Monkey Dory, and is planning to try to clear all of these Pokemon at the same time at some point.
I think this KO took so long that Ron had only grabbed 1 prize card. Forgot to grab the second one right there. But yeah, I think it's going to be Mind Bend. I don't see any other way for Ian to get out of this spot. We can even see that he's very emotional. He's showing his displeased at the current situation.
Yeah, understandably so. He does have Pheasantipity, so he can flip the script here. Seems a Psychic Energy, so he can attack here. And, ooh, actually the Dark Energy.
Yeah.
It's a valuable resource, but maybe moving all of those damage counters off your board would make you feel just a little bit better.
Just a little bit, but with no more item lock, that's really going to be huge here for Rowan. It's going to allow him to finally establish the Dark Energy for Monkey. Probably get more Psychic Energy in the discard pile. So sure, you get the item lock going. I think, the confusion going, but now if Rowan decides to just go into Frillish and alternate with the keeping the item lock and just alternate his attackers, that could be huge here.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot now for Ian. He sees items being played on that other side of the board, and you can only wonder what that must feel like. It's a pretty good spot to be in for Rowan as he throws down another Dark on his Monkey Dory. Double Adrenabrain, ready to roll. Can preserve some hit points on this Jellicent and still has not seen a supporter.
I mean, yeah, I really fancy keeping the item lock going. You know your opponent's hand is pretty bad. you've really limited everything. I mean, not stopping Technical Machine Evolution could be problematic, as we see the Artisan get utilized for a Ralt. So Technical Machine Evolution would give your opponent perhaps Kirlia, but also you know that like you get another for sure free turn, right? Is that worth it? I don't think we ever risk the coin flip, right? I definitely don't like that, to just keep the tool lock available as well. But I mean, I think Rowan is considering just going for the flip. There we go.
We've seen this from a Bon a few times, and he does miss out. That's 30 damage onto the Jellicent. A failed attack from the Confusion. Not nearly as much of a punish available as we see the Ralt still in play. No Kirlia to go Gardevoir and accelerate these energies. But it never feels good to allow your opponent to keep some additional damage and also push all of theirs back onto you.
Ian going full mind bend mode, trying to play mind games with Rowan here. Just going to go for double Adrenabrain and 60 more damage. Will Rowan do something different here, though? That's the question.
Yeah, 200 damage now on this Jellicent. The Confusion really disrupting here. And maybe this is the difference now for Rowan. As he's established the Kirlia, can Gardevoir become an attacker for you? And you feel a little more comfortable knowing that you have a backup plan.
Yeah, Gardevoir into Gardevoir. Rowan has a very clear board advantage, has a prize advantage. The big thing is the damage accumulating and the Confusion, right? So if you really want to keep the item lock going, we have to go for Frillish, or we risk the coin flip. Frillish right there, it's at the very top. So we finally see it. I mean, we could still go for the coin flip, and if it stales, there's no damage on Ian's side of the board, so he cannot get like a mid-turn KO no matter what. But yeah, there's the retreat, so I'm wondering why we didn't do it perhaps a turn earlier.
Yeah, we see the Frillish now. We'll start to put that item lock into place. Jellicent's healing itself off a little now with the help of Adrenabrain to push some of that damage over. And it doesn't lead to the cleanest lines for you.
Yeah.
You can't do too much else with this, and I'm a bit curious about how you deal with the damage that's about to get thrown over to this side. 60 damage onto this Frillish seems like an absolute pain.
Okay, so, I mean, this might almost look like a trap. Like, Rowan left 20 damage on the Frillish, right? That means if Ian decides to send the 6 damage counters onto the Frillish, he will get the mid-turn KO. But that allows Rowan to promote the Jellicent to keep denying the tool cards. However, Jellicent would have 60 damage extra, would be confused. So, this is leaving this 20 damage perhaps a small oversight. Like, you wouldn't mind confusing the Monkey Dirty.
So this is
right?
where I'm at with it. What if you just play down the TM Devolution right now onto the active, push the damage onto Frillish, and who cares if they bring up Jellicent?
Oh, yeah, that's
you can
perfect.
just de-evolve and knock out both Frillish this turn.
Yeah, that's going to be a knockout on the Frillish with Adrenabrain. Is not taking that 20 damage off. A slight mishap here, Kyle.
Yeah, I wanted to heal off the Jellicent as much as possible, but there is a difference between these two locks from the Frillish and the Jellicent. The tools are played down. The Devo is established. You're going to see this Pokemon picked back up now. KO on the Frillish, and Ian's cleared off 2 big pains for him.
2 big pains, that's for sure. Now he knows there won't be an item lock, and if Rowan cannot have an Iono perhaps to take away Ian's huge hand, we could see a very explosive turn by Ian with a Rare Candy Gardevoir off the top, or off the huge build-up he's had so far. That's a lot of item cards not available to him. I mean, we can recover the Frillish, continue to deny the item cards as well. Maybe this was all part of Rowan's plan. If he ends up winning this series, we'll have to ask him.
Yeah, it would be exciting to find out. I'm sure that we will not see any damage left on Frillish from this point forward, though. If 2 Monkey Dory are to be around, wants to preserve that Pokemon as best as possible. And if you could do this without leaving damage on board, that'd be ideal. You see 2 Monkey Dory now on this side of the board. If you have 1 more, maybe you can leave that Monkey Dory just slightly out of range of a KO and then knock it out with Frillish. But then you open up your opponent to drawing with the Fez, and things can get a little tricky there too. But where do you go?
No Iono played, so Rowan really needs to continue this item lock. Ian did play the TM Evo, so that's not an option next turn. So he's going to be in the same spot where he needs a Kirlia down sometime soon if he's ever going to win with Gardevoir in play. But, I mean, he's tied up the prize race with no Gardevoir, so maybe he's fine.
Rowan finds the Jellicent once more and actually sees the Super Rod here too. So there's plenty of ways to continue to recycle and keep the item lock in play for even a few more turns. One thing we see that's missing is a way to take the knockout on this Munkidori. 10 short, given the way that this board is set up.
Double Psychic Embrace to the active Gardevoir to pay for the retreat cost, just making sure that's clear to everyone watching and not just like the Gardevoir magically retreating into the bench. And we're going to see the Bravery Charm getting attached to the Frillish. So now, even if we leave the damage there, it won't be getting KO'd anymore.
Yeah, this feels much cleaner at this point. And if you're moving Frillishes between each other with the 60 of Mind Bend that works in, it's a lot easier to retreat this Pokemon and bounce around and avoid the issue of confusion.
So item lock continues over on Rowan's side. Ian, what can he do? The confusion is now pretty good, but much weaker, knowing that he gave his opponent the Jellicent back, right? That was the one drawback of the TM Devo play. You knock out both Frillish, yes, but the Jellicent is available without ever needing to recover it in any way. So what can Ian piece together here? He has no access to Gardevoir, so as we mentioned, it's all Munkidori's world from here on out.
It's devastating to think even for Ian, if he puts that confusion in play, the evolution of Frillish enough would just be devastating to see the Jellicent come into play, not worry about confusion anymore as that condition is removed, and then push some damage over with Munkidori's. You could potentially take a knockout in that regard and then attack with the Jellicent too. It could be a really big advantage here for Rowan. Ian needs to find a little more help. I think it all starts with Kirlia at this point, but can he get through the deck?
Yeah, where's Kirlia? That's the big question, right? Ian has a huge hand. Without Kirlia, not really accomplishing much. We are going to research, it seems. Oh. That's a huge research. Thank you, Ian, for showing us. There's Rare Candy, there's Super Rod, there's Ultra Ball, there's Mew EX, there's Ionos right there. Can we find a Kirlia? I see one.
He has it.
Yeah, that's a pretty big find. I don't see a Gardevoir follow-up to this, though. So because we didn't discard any Gardevoirs for Ian, maybe this is fine, Kyle. Maybe this research gave us enough reach to pull this off.
Yeah, just seeing the dark energy too is really nice as well. When the Munkidori is KO'd, there is Artisan there. You can bring another Munkidori back into play, have the perfect response here. And poor little Frillish holding on for dear life, but it won't have to worry much longer. Rowan has the answer. Bravery Charm, you're not going to work anymore, but we don't need you.
Yep, there's the Jellicent EX coming back to hunt Ian. Now, Ian can probably also accurately predict that there's no Boss's Hoarders in Rowan's deck, especially after this point, especially after going through so many cards in this game too. So he knows his Kirlia is safe. If he finds Gardevoir, we could finally see something happen for Ian other than the Mind Bend, as we see a very crucial Iono.
Yeah, Mega Evolution really helping out the lines here with the additional hit points on Kirlia. Triple Munkidori will not get the job done. And Jellicent holds on. It's going to take a little more damage here, but it's got its friends waiting in the wings to help push some of this damage off.
Adrenaline Brain, such a good ability, will be able to... I mean, I think Rowan is now considering, can I knock out, or put the damage on the active Munkidori, and it's essentially just healing, and I don't leave any damage on my opponent's side of the field, so that they can't throw any back to me whatsoever, or do I push my Munkidori advantage, knowing that one will get KO'd, place all the damage on the Kirlia, and ask Ian, do you have the Gardevoir? Otherwise, that's being threatened majorly.
Yeah, I think with the Psychic Energies in the discard pile and the Fez draw that's likely to be seen here too, Ian could find that Gardevoir realistically.
Yeah.
So he keeps the damage in play, knows that with the energy attachments from the Psychic Embrace, he could see a ton more damage. And are you kidding? It is the last card off of the Fez, flipping the script again. Script writers, you've got it made out perfectly here. 4 to 3 prize cards, and Gardevoir is back in action.
not only back in action, there's just enough damage on the active to get KO'd. We have the Gardevoir, we have the backup Kirlia, we have Funkidori. Wow, what a draw. And very crucially, Ian got Iono'd, but he knew that there was no Gardevoir at the bottom of the deck, so very correctly didn't shuffle his deck with Artisan or anything else. I don't think there was anything else to shuffle, but didn't do it with Artisan, knowing he was now closer to the Gardevoir than ever before.
Yeah, so smart. You have to think of everything you can do to increase those percentages for yourself there in that spot. And it is only one Monkidori to heal off this Gardevoir. 240 could be a pretty tricky range in this matchup. However, the Jellicent will be KO'd here. But expect some fireworks on the other side from Rowan now. This could be a Gardevoir war from here on out.
Yeah, and you may be wondering why Ian didn't put the damage elsewhere, because the Jellicent already had 190 HP left. But when you're down a Monkidori, when your opponent has double Monkidori, then healing off that damage is probably a little bit better. Now, Rowan, interestingly, choosing to promote the Kirlia instead of the Gardevoir. Usually Gardevoir is the promotion to maximize the damage on your side of the field for the double Adrenabrain. Perhaps we're just going to get the other Gardevoir established. Regardless, Rowan down to 3 prizes. He cannot get the 3 prizes right now, I don't think. Maybe he can. Maybe he can KO this. No, I don't see a way where he can get 3 prizes this turn, Kyle.
Yeah, the Bravery Charm on the Fez helps out a lot with preservation there with the Scream Tail. The Gardevoir is at 240, so it required some Monkidori pushing the damage over, which means that there's no damage left to KO Frillish in this spot. But you certainly can set yourself up for a win on the following turn. It's just, how do you want to do this? Ian has 2 prize cards remaining. Can you somehow work out an answer with a single prize Pokemon in the active spot, or do you just want to put up the massive hit points of a Gardevoir EX?
I want to say it's a Gardevoir EX, right? Ian is down to 2 prize cards. You cannot afford to bench any Mew, Clefairy, or Fezandipiti, and therefore you have to attack with the highest HP Pokemon or a single prizer, as we see the counter catcher bringing up something that Rowan is trying to figure out.
I was wondering if there's a world where you try to incorporate some Devo play again and bring up the Fez, pull those Pokemon up and make it harder for a Gardevoir to come back into play, but looks like Rowan doesn't have that answer, and he's not finding much else on this one either. This is mainly to disrupt his opponent from here on out.
All right, we see the retreat of the Kirlia with the first Psychic Embrace. We're going to see another triple Psychic Embrace to the active Gardevoir, and we have triple Adrenabrain available. Where does this damage go? We can take a prize card on this Frillish by moving 6 from the Gardevoir and 2 from the Kirlia and taking a knockout on the Monkidori. That means we are 1 Scream Tail away from knocking out the Kirlia possibly, but that could evolve, and that could be a problem as well. So we just focus fire the Gardevoir, right? Take the knockout, and then wherever that Gardevoir is, we just try to take it down with Scream Tail.
Yeah, really smart here from Rowan. You understand the prize map. You need to take that single prize off the board, and instead of giving your opponent that opportunity to evolve that Kirlia on the bench and make it just 3 Pokemon EX, especially the massive hit points of the Fez now, just force yourself to have to take that 1 more knockout, and this hand's not doing it. Artisan to try to thin out, find a little more help. Fez will be available too. What answer do you need? A Dark Energy would be nice to move some damage.
I think it's Lily Clefairy time. I think Ulmon Rondo with a Dark Energy on the Monkidori could do it if I'm not mistaken.
All right,
is that enough for 300? No, probably not. That can't be 300 damage.
I think you get to 200 on your side. It's not a lot.
20 plus 20 more for each benched Pokemon.
Got nine
220,
maximum.
250, yeah. Not quite, 230 maximum, so not quite enough. So how can Ian plan this? He's nodding, yeah. He's saying, yeah, these are good cards. So I don't see any Drifloon. I don't see how Screamtail could possibly get 2 prizes here. At this point, we don't have enough Monkeydoris to take a double prize turn on anything on the bench.
Can heal off a little bit here for the Gardevoir. Has a Monkidori to start to use Mind Bend. That would be one way to avoid a really big attacker in the active spot. The only ones we see currently are a bunch of Monkidori on the other side of the board. 60, not terribly impactful when you're talking about KOing EX Pokemon.
I mean, is Ian's win condition maybe that Screamtail is just prized? Maybe that's what you play towards in this spot. Yes. Because you can't counter the Artisan, right?
It's
if it's available,
yeah,
it's gonna happen. So, item lock. Is Screamtail discarded? Probably not. I don't think I ever saw it hit the discard pile.
2/2 prize cards. We're not looking at counter catchers. It's just trying to buy a turn.
Yeah, and I mean there might be just enough energies, right? You retreat 2, you have 4. 4 on Screamtail is 160 damage, which is exactly how much HP Gardevoir has left. And sure, you heal a little bit with the Monkey Dory, but that's not enough. Triple Monkey Dory. We're just going to see the Artisan. We're going to see the Screamtail Call, and we're heading to game 3.
Yep, there it is. Writing's on the wall. Ian sees that 160 is going to take a knockout there. It is 1-1 in this set. Unbelievable to see this mirror playing out the way it does. And so cool, calm, and collected for both these players.
Very well done. Ian knows that he was really far behind pretty much the whole game. Still made it close though, right? Still had a chance there. Still made it close. So let's take a look at the replay. Let's see what happened in this game 2, Kyle.
Yeah, almost an exact opposite situation from game number 1. We saw the Jellicent going crazy on Ian's side of the board, and now it's Rowan's turn. Rowan sets up a pretty great play, but this was Ian's bread and butter. He worked out a really clean line. The Frillish opened up for the TM Devolution. He took a double KO on the Frillishes, but Rowan did not stop there. He found an answer, reestablished his item lock, and then continued to push forward, got down to 3 prize cards remaining, and then had the answer to start to take some big knockouts. Removed that Monkey Dory. Damage was not going anywhere from that Gardevoir, and it leads to a KO from this Screamtail. 160 for the knockout.
That's Rowan. You know you're in for a good time when you have 3 Monkey Dories established and your opponent has no Monkey Dories established.
When you play 3 Monkey Dory and 3 Dark, and they all find their way onto the board, you're winning. You don't need to ask very much else of your deck. We will see what our players have in store for us this time. It has been a story about Secret Box as we've looked through the prize cards the first 2 games. You only start to wonder, what do these hands have in store for us? Who will make their way to the top 4 here in Milwaukee?
And who will prize their secret box this time around? That's a big question I want answered. Hopefully it's neither. However, there could be someone. I'm watching the prize cards right now. It's going to be Rowan going first per Ian's choice. And what can he piece up together? Oh my goodness.
Who answered right in the Twitch poll? It was Rowan.
It was Rowan's turn to prize the secret box. He's a lot more focused on the secret box. He has a big Arven focus as well. He's about to find out that that's not available. But over on Ian's side, he has a Gardevoir prize and under item lock for a lot of the game. That can be problematic.
There we go. You need to see what this man looks like as he identifies the pink card is no longer there for him. You want to find that early. He does prioritize Arven in his list and is going to see the bad news.
Frillish being prized is also pretty big, right? That means you can't have back-to-back item locking capabilities if you, with Jellicent at least, right? You can't have back-to-back Jellicent, and Ian prized his own Jellicent himself, so.
What's worse? We haven't really gotten to this point, but a Gardevoir, a Night Stretcher, and a Jellicent, especially the one copy of Jellicent, when we've seen how impactful that can be in a deck that has no boss's orders on the other side, to have to rely solely on Frillish, that's not going to do it.
It's really not. But will the secret box being priced slow down Rowan enough to where maybe that doesn't matter too much?
Yeah, maybe this is the perfect prize cards to give us a great game 3. What can Rowan establish on this turn? He does have the Artisan. He's looking through and finding all of what he needs to work for in this game, and we saw the Monkey Dory with the Dark Energies earlier on. In the other games, looks like he has a very similar story lined up for us this time around as well.
A very big deal is that Ian did start the Mew EX, right? That's a 2-price Pokemon that you probably don't want in play for pretty much the whole game. You can do some like nice place where you copy your opponent's Screamtail with your own Mew and get snipes off that way. But if Pheasantipity eventually comes into play, that's 2 low HP Pokemon that could be targets for Rowan. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on if that Mew EX provides enough firepower with restart ability, but becomes a liability, especially towards the end of the game. And especially when we are running down the clock, right? We might not be able to finish this game as Gardevoir mirror matches tend to take a while to get going, right, with the aggression. So that extra price off of the Mew could be the difference between being ahead once the timer is over.
That's a great point. It's hard to try to avoid giving up these prize cards at those inopportune times. Yes, even giving up the Mew EX at some point is going to be detrimental, but when time is a factor and you think about Screamtail, 160 is a very easy number to hit. 1 Monkey Dory is all it takes for the damage to move over, KO that Pokemon. If you do that on turn 0 or turn 1 even of time, that can be the complete difference and just make you the winner, even if you weren't going to win a full 6 prize game.
Yeah, that could be the reason why you advance to top 4. So I'm sure Ian's going to know this, Rowan's going to know this, and they're both going to try and either prevent it or take advantage of that. As we are seeing Ian go through his turn, we did see the Artisan get utilized for that route. We're having an extra check for the prizes. And what else do we have in the hand? I think I see a Lily, I see an Ultra Ball. Discarding, is that TM Devo? There's not going to be any TM Devo.
Yeah, no TM Devo.
Yeah.
Screamtail also to the discard pile. Nest Ball also played, but this hand, pretty good. I think we saw Lily's Determination along with a Dark Energy for that Monkey Dory. So if you want to ask your deck of a few different things, this is what you do. Has the Screamtail shuffled back in now. Super Rod likely not to be too helpful if we see Rowan's item lock here in the coming turns.
Yeah, and I mean, this Super Rod could signify its research instead of Lily's, perhaps. We're going to lose the research anyway, so we might as well play it. And we see that energy. We see the... Oh, no, it's just Bravery Charm. It wasn't... Okay. Oh, my gosh. What? He gets Secret Box, so we have to put it at the very bottom of our deck.
Oh, these old eyes are deceiving me, but it works out for him. Ian finds pretty solid resources with the Curlia and a little more help, but the Secret Box to the bottom is never a nice thing to see.
He found Frillish and a way to find Psychic Energy, but he already attached energy to the Monkey Dory, so he will not be able to item lock Rowan in this upcoming turn. Only grabbing 1 Psychic Energy.
Oh, this is so telling.
Yeah, this is so telling that we're aiming for restart to help us in the next turn as well.
Yeah, he just said my hand's terrible. Oh, that's so wild. But, I mean, this is what you have to do, I suppose. He wants to play the item because he thinks Rowan could get the item lock on him now. It really is just Artisan into an air balloon, and Frillish comes into play. It's all already waiting in the hand.
You know what? Who needs Secret Box when you have Arven for Candy Gardevoir?
And Artisan already in play. You just have everything you need anyways.
My goodness, this is going to be huge. This is going to really set Ian far behind. I mean, you could just go for the item lock and have a similar story as the one in the previous game, right? You have the item lock, your opponent doesn't. They just discarded a Frillish. You don't know it, but their Jellicent is prized as well. And because there's no items, they don't threaten anything with regards to Gardevoir on the next turn, and you can slowly but surely chip away at whatever they try to do.
Yeah, the one good thing here for Ian is the Monkey Dory is in the active spot. It has the Dark Energy. So if Frillish were to be the play, 20 damage from Oceanic Curse, or Oceanic Gloom, excuse me, would make Monkey Dory able to Adrenabrain over and take the KO with just a Psychic Energy.
Yeah, I mean, Rowan grabbed Nest Ball, and instead he's grabbing Rare Candy. I think that's... maybe he was getting a little too far ahead of himself. He hadn't started shuffling, so he had not concluded his search. But yeah, I was very surprised that he was not taking this opportunity and jumping into the Rare Candy Gardevoir, especially when he saw the Technical Machine Devolution already get discarded in the previous turn.
Yeah, great point. That is, if you can cash in on this and not worry about either the item lock or the devolution here, having that Gardevoir established would be nice, even though we don't see any Psychic Energy in the discard pile yet.
All right, we see the Artisan getting the backup Ralts. And yeah, you're right. We don't need Rare Candy Gardevoir, but why not?
Yeah.
Why not do it?
I'd like to not worry about that for the next 12 minutes.
All right, we're going to see the attachment. So we're even valuing getting the energy into a discard pile, retreating it, and then getting a little bit of extra damage with our own Monkey Dory, perhaps onto the Frillish. I think that's exactly what we're going to see. Good play, hit cool, and not... Oh, okay. So we're not going to item lock at this point in time. We're going to mind bend our opponent.
Yeah, I think this speaks to Rowan's hand and being worried about the Frillish return KO. If he had an answer to that when the 20 damage is pushed over and then Mind Bend takes the knockout on Frillish, he'd feel a little more comfortable. Bravery Charm or even just a Night Stretcher would make him lean back into that, but instead he's going to give one turn of items, and there are no items to use. What is this hand? I mean, you had the read. He used Earthen Vessel for one energy, and he can't even thin this down. Restart does nothing here.
My goodness, such awful draws. Yeah, I mean, Ian's indirectly item locked by his own bad luck.
He used all of his items trying to get through to restart, and he just can't find any now. And there's 60 damage moved over to the Frillish. Rowan, he's going to take the risk here. He knows the hand's awful for Ian, but he could get rewarded so big here if he finds the Jellicent. And sure enough, it's the first card in the window.
First card off the top for Iono. We're going to see a Jellicent permanent item lock at this point. 6 brand new cards for Ian, which is great. And, I mean, if there's a Gardevoir, maybe we can make something happen. Maybe now it's Ian who's going to be utilizing Mind Bend to try to get out of this situation. Yeah, this slow and steady. These Gardevoir mirror matches are very brittle, right? It's like they chip away at each other with 30 damage, 20 damage, 80 damage. They're not really aggressive when we're seeing
Pablo, look at this, too. The Earthen Vessel was with a Psychic Energy. There were no Psychic in the discard pile to establish the Dark Energy with the Monkey Dory and have the 2 Psychic Energy to attack with the Jellicent was so unlikely to see off of all these cards. But he found all of them and now has the perfect response to this Monkey Dory, can clear this off and have no damage on Ian's side of the board if he chooses.
Wow, what a play, what a draw off the Iono. We're going to see the double Adrenabrain. My goodness, Kyle.
This brutal.
Yeah, brutal indeed. And, I mean, who needs Secret Box, right?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, Ian, he saw it, and he only had 3 cards in hand once he found it. It was the worst time to see the Secret Box.
Yeah.
And instead now he is working like a theme deck. 3 energies in hand, frantically looking for basic Pokemon. Cannot thin this down anymore. I believe he might be able to get 1 card now, being that he has, well, he had access to Counter Catcher, but here's Jellicent. He just can't go anywhere with this.
Can't go anywhere. Does have his own Iono, so let's see what that brings us. Could it be the Gardevoir now? Ian did go for the Artisan before the Iono, but there was nothing of value really at the bottom of the deck, right? There were a few energies, sure, but you really wanted Gardevoir, so I'm not sure if perhaps shuffling the deck beforehand, decreasing your chance of finding the Gardevoir was not necessarily the way to go, as now the tables have turned and it's on Ian to go for the Mind Bend plays.
Yeah, so as the Jellicent, as it's now confused in the active spot, the one big thing that you can do in this matchup, slowing down the Jellicent, is make it work for its KOs, but this could be ridiculous. We see another Monkey Dory. Is there a Dark Energy to go with this? Arvin searching out Earthen Vessel. We see the energy. This will be a nearly clean Jellicent from this point out. Pablo, I think you just feel comfortable going for the flips at this point out. There's not enough damage on the other side of the board.
Yeah, no, for sure. Ian's side of the board is looking very, very bleak. Rowan has everything he could possibly want for, and it's triple Monkey Dory against single Monkey Dory. I mean, big yikes here.
Yeah, no energy in sight for Ian right now. He is working with absolute scraps on the other side. Item lock is in play. Rowan is going to clean up this mess. Now here, do you actually want to keep damage in play, knowing that it's just the lone Monkey Dory and your opponent's struggling for Dark Energy, or do you just play it safe?
I want to knock out this Ralts. Yeah, I want to triple Adrenabrain, knock out the Ralts, and just flip, right? Yeah. In the end, you're, like, even if you flip Tails, you're still doing more damage to your opponent whilst keeping the item lock, whilst keeping the tool lock, right? So we take a knockout on the Ralts, we absorb the damage from Munkidori, and even if we keep flipping tails, we just send it all back.
Yeah, I don't dislike that. We're going to see a bit of a hedge here, but he finds the heads. So like Rowan, after we saw his copied Kangaskhan attacking, he will roll the die, and it works out in his favor this time around. KO on the Munkidori, and that is going to be it. Ian sees the writing on the wall, and Rowan Stavenow moving on to the top 4.
Research for Ian into the concession after he doesn't get Gardevoir. I really want Pancho to ask Rowan if this is the tournament where he has flipped the most amount of coins.